Well, did I buy another bike or didn't I? How, in this little shop I have, if you've seen my videos, how could I fit another bike in here? Well, to start with, I put the two bikes, that's my back room. I put the Harley facing that way and the Suzuki facing this way, and they fit. I mean, they were tight, but I got them in. And about buying another bike, I got another bike. This is a 1993 Honda ST 1100. The ST is for sport touring. The Suzuki, I'm still working on it. I took the carb body out, took the carb parts off. It has fuel injection, but what I did was I took out, there's two screws I took out on the carburetor body, blew cleaner through them, carb cleaner, and a lot of dirt come out of the one, some come out of the other one, so that might help. Plus, I'm ready to run it up and start that tool on it to set the idle control speed. In the meantime, I'm looking on Craigslist. I seen this bike. Now, here's something I want to show, and it might help somebody when you go to buy a used bike, especially a used bike, what to consider and what I go by. And buyer beware. You go and you purchase that used bike, everything, like I had told this before, everything the guy says, let it go in one ear, out the other. I dealt with a middle-aged man, real nice, you know, friendly, this and that. You can't believe everything. And I mean, I almost had him pulled the one side panel off and look at the battery. I thought, no, you know, he didn't say anything about the battery. Well, when I got the bike, I thought, I'm going to put a new battery in it anyway. I don't know, you know, unless you look at it and it looks brand new. I was up at Walmart and something told me, buy the battery, buy the battery. So I bought the battery, brought it home. I ordered the air filter, oil filter, and the book on it, the workbook online, so it's coming. But here's something to show, buyer beware, because you never know what somebody's going to do that, if I was selling a bike, I wouldn't do it. So let me show what I found. My nephew come up yesterday evening, and I started taking some panels off because I'm going to be doing the work on it to get it. I'm going to check the brakes. If it's or even questionable, I'll buy them. They're not that expensive. I can buy them online. So here's what I come across. One of the first things I come across on this bike. I've taken the battery and battery tray out where it sets, because I want to clean in behind all that and get it all clean. Now, when I got home and took the panel off, this is the battery that was in it. I can slide this battery over and you can see this big space here. There's nothing there. The battery was loose in the bike, and if I close this up and you look at it this way, you can see that's how much room's in there. That goes clear back, but there's all this room. This battery is so tiny, plus the battery is an acid battery, and there was no hose on it to run it down. It has to have a hose on here, so if it overcharges or anything like that, the acid will go down under the bike. No hose on it. And I looked at the battery, and the bike, you know, all in all, it's kind of dirty. Here, this battery is a brand new battery. The date isn't on it, but if you look at it, the back side of it, underneath it, all around, no dirt down in here where the lids are, no dirt at all. That's a brand new battery he put in the bike. So I got a battery from Walmart, and you look it up on their thing, they have that little computer there, you get the right battery, and this is the one, and I put it in here and it fits perfect. There is the battery for this bike. You can see you can see the difference. I think his battery was shot. He got the cheapest battery he probably could get. and put in there enough that I could start it, run it home, you know what I mean? I would have never done that to somebody, because what if I wouldn't have checked it and I'd go out and ride? That bike could be overcharging this size battery, and it hard telling what would happen. And it's not going to hold the charge like this one. It's not rated for it. But that's what I mean, buyer beware. When you buy a used bike, I would it depends on like a lot of things, but that added to my cost. But I don't care, you know, I wanted the bike, I can go some extra money. Now over here where the battery was, there's a thing on the relay starter down here on these bikes, and they have a lot about it on YouTube, about this burning out through. There's a power cord comes down here, and then it goes to the battery, and it's for the starter relay, but it's too much power going through it. There's 4 wires on here, and you can see like 2 red, but the one has a red and white wire on it. The one on the right hand side in the corner is red, and what they do is they cut that, they put their own wire over right to the battery and put a 30 amp fuse in, and that takes care of that happening, because you could be out and your bike could quit. And I've seen one guy showed he actually had like holes down here that was burnt through on both sides. This one, it's looked like it, you know, it's pretty substantial, but I'm going to change that. Now he put a little power outlet up here, USB port, no lid on it. So if it rains, that's going to get water in it. So I either got to move it, put a different one on, or do something with it, make a lid for this, you know, so if it rains you can close it off. He come down with the wiring, and he put this on here. These two has nothing on it, I guess, if you wanted to put something else. But he put this little thing on and pull ties. I don't think, you know, that's his own setup on it. Then here's the bad part. You come down, I don't know, I think that's just a connector to connect this on. And he has 2 fuses. He has the 30 amp and a 20 amp. And he has this, you have your fuse box right up here. Well, he opened this lid, he had this where he could plug it in to the bottom of the fuse box, and you couldn't close the fuse box. So I had washed the bike when I got home, and there was water in this because it wasn't closed, and I had the side panel on. That has to be, this has to be changed. That can't be put in here and that lid left open. I didn't care for that, so that has to be redone. And I'm going to be taking more panels off. This is your gas tank. This is a big air filter under here. And I like the bike. I can show a picture of it, you know, you can see what it looks like. And this was a bike made for the European buyers, and then they started selling them in the United States, but it was designed for European style. It's like a Gold Wing, only smaller, low RPMs, beautiful. This is for cruising, like, you know, out on the highways. I mean, you're going state to state and cross country, whatever you want to do. Then down here it has these 2 plastic protrusions. What it is underneath there's a big bar here, so if you fall over, it's like your crash bar. There's a hole in this side all chopped out, and there's one on the other. And I looked at it, and he said the previous owner before him cut these holes in here, just ripped them out, and he had highway pegs in here. I mean, he couldn't, you know, lay it out and cut it a little nicer. I'm going to do away with them. I don't need the pegs. One thing is, the bike's tall. I'm on tiptoes on one side. I can't put both my tips of my toes on the ground because I'm only 5'3". So what you do is you slide over on the seat. Here he had cleaned the bike, and it's like he went over everything with something like Armor All. He did the seat. Well, if you know anything about bikes, you don't do that. I went to slide over a little bit when I took it for a ride down there, and I'm like, holy hell, I'm sliding off the bike. You know, it was like, oh man. I didn't want to say anything because I scrubbed it, and I used the soap, you know, car wash soap, scrubbed it real good when I washed it out here, the whole thing. Then on the seat I used that tough stuff. It comes in a yellow can, and it got a lot of that off. But when I first sprayed the bike, wet it down, you could just see the seat looked like grease. You know, it wasn't like the water beat it up. It's like it showed what was on there, and I have no idea what he put on, but I got to get it off. So that's what I've been up to, and I'm going to show about bringing the bike home and maybe do a little talking on it. But boy, it handles beautiful, smooth, and I'm going to be taking the wheels off. I want to clean them good, get in there, clean everything, change the final drive oil. It's shaft driven. If there's any question at all about the brakes, I'm ordering them and I'm putting them on, because when I researched this bike, and I mean I researched it before I dove into buying it. I look online, you know, what's air filter cost, what's brakes cost, just on and on. I kept looking stuff up. It's available, I can get it, it's not bad. And this bike supposed to get, I forget the mileage on it, but it's got like I think a 7-gallon tank, and it goes down, it's under the seat, and it's huge. And I know the guy told me, like I said, you don't know whether to believe it, but I kind of think that's right, because I've seen some other reviews on this bike. You can fill your tank and go about 275 miles before you have to put gas in it. So that's nice for going out, you know, on the interstates. I usually don't go on a turnpike. I like the back roads and stuff, but the thing handles beautiful once it's up in the air. You know, I get it up. So I got to be careful with that. And the kickstand. The kickstand's a little short one. When you flip it up, it's behind your foot peg where you put your foot on the left side. So your heel naturally goes in front of the pad where you put your foot. It's not floorboards, it's just it's not round, it's kind of flat, but your foot goes in the wrong position. I'm trying and trying, I can't get the stand down, so I'm going to put an extension on it, you know, that comes straight out, make sure I can put it up and down, but then I can catch it with my foot, because even when it's down I can hardly reach it. I got to slide forward, and with that seat the way it was, I'm trying to slide, you know, it goes up a little bit in the front. I'm trying to slide up there so I can get the kickstand. I keep sliding back, and I'm like, it's a lost cause. Oh, I'm driving home and I'm sliding. I'm like, it was funny, because man, I mean, I'm sliding all over the place. I'm like, why did you put that on there? Oh my God, you know, when you're, I mean, like for me, riding over 50 years, I think I had a moped and I put that stuff, something like that on there, and I learned you don't do that, man. You slide everywhere. Oh my goodness. But love the bike, love everything about it. And another thing I checked was setting the valves on it. It's a different animal. Like the Suzuki, I have a thing on that, and a lot of people's watched it. You have the little thing you twist down in there and lock it down. Not this baby. You have to take the cam off of the bike. It lays in gear, so you can take it off. You got to mark the gears. There's a guy that shows it on there, and it's a long video, and he shows one side. Now, most bikes, like the Harley and the Suzuki, it's a V-twin like. Well, this one's a V-twin, but it's from side to side, not front to back. The motor sets that way, and it looks like a little car motor, 4-cylinder. And it is so smooth and nice. And when you're going on the road, like us coming home on the interstate with this, it's easy to go over the speed limit. The GPS was in my way. I couldn't see the speedometer. Lois is following me, and she don't drive that fast, and she's getting mad because I'm going too fast. I had to pull off and wait till she caught up. But it's easy because, you know, it's just such a low RPM. The other bikes, you know, you crank them up and you keep going, you know how far you're cranked. This one, it fools you. It's just low RPM. And it is so nice. But I got a lot to do on it. You know, I'm going all over it. And I got my notebook. I wrote down everything about it. Go to the insurance company, tell them, I want insurance on this bike. I bought this bike. They come back, they're having a problem. I thought, oh, here we go again. Here, the old bikes, that's a 1970, my Harley. He said, there's where they're having a problem. He said, it ain't on my account, it's on theirs. But it'll be straightened out. They had 9 digits, letters, and numbers in your VIN number. Now they have 10. They had used so much, they had to go to a 10th number. Well, here now it's coming up where 2 bikes will have the same number and letters, but one will have 9, one will have 10. And it's like the computer ain't accepting it. It's like, you know, something's going on. Sorry about shaking the camera, I'm just holding it. But so if you're into buying a bike, you know, and you have an older one and you come across that problem, you'll know what it is. Now that's here in Pennsylvania where I live. But that's the problem they're having. You know, it's like you don't want to recognize it. Now they have to try to get in the computer and let it know that it's maybe the same number, but 1 digit more. They might have put a 0 at the beginning or the end or something, and then started with that. Always something. The computer updated, and it wants 10 digits. There's only 9 on that. Because he first started telling me, and I'm like, got to be, you know, we always got it, you know, before we pay our insurance and everything's okay. He said, yeah, it's the computers, it's not them. But it's got the saddlebags, a back bag, a lot of luggage area. You can look these up, the ST1100 Honda, and they show a lot about it on YouTube. And there's a lot of videos how to do this, how to do that, and I watched a whole lot of them, and especially the valve setting. But I wanted to see where's the oil filter, where is, you know, everything, because each bike's different. I liked it because it's shaft drive too. That's nice. But I'm going to get this in top shape. Then me and my nephew's going to do some riding. We want to do like all day riding, go maybe a couple days someplace, and this is the bike for it. The Suzuki would do it, but with that problem, I don't know. I'm still fooling with it. But I never thought I'd buy another bike, but I did. So I'll show me riding home and maybe do some talking over it, and I'll go from there. At this point, you notice I passed Lois, and she's going to follow me out of this big cul-de-sac. It's a very large area, one way in and one way out. And you'll notice the GPS went off. The GPS is an older one, and the battery's shot in it, and I didn't have a plug to plug it into the bike. So I have to go by memory. We come out of here and went down to get the title transferred, so I'd been in and out of here twice. And this way you go out, it goes right down to the interstate. So I'm going by memory and trying to figure out the right way to go, and there is a lot of homes up in here. I'm fooling with the turn signal. I didn't know if it was, you know, like they would cancel, self-canceling. I found out it's like my Suzuki. You pull it over to the left or right, and then you just tap it to shut it back off. know when we come off the interstate and started up into this area, there was a gas station. And I'm kind of watching for traffic. The most traffic would be going in and out, and then going by memory. I remembered this intersection and which way we came around it. Now we see traffic going up around, so I thought I remembered it was down this way. There, straight ahead, you can see a little bit of the gas station. I knew I had it made. Now there's a sign up towards the right corner, and it says east, and that's the way we want to go. And then on down, I believe it said the interstate east. There's the signs. I know I'm going the right way. But on out the road, when we come in, there's a bridge, and there's a railroad bridge that was on our right as we came in, and right here you can see it's on our left. So I knew I was all right. Here, I'm going pretty fast because the low RPMs on this bike, it feels like you're not going that fast. And at one point on out the road, I saw Lois flash her lights, and she's trying to say, you know, wait up, you're going too fast. But to me, I'm thinking, am I going the right way? So I was getting kind of confused there. GPS isn't on, so it's no help. And my GoPro I'm filming with is a chin mount, so I'm up a little bit higher than the camera and I can't see the speedometer. At this point I realized I cannot see Lois. I went too fast. So hit the turn signal and pull off, and I'll wait for her. I see her coming and she flashed her lights, so I pulled out. Now she's behind me. When we left with the bike, it was warm, so I just threw on a shirt, and it's about here. It was cloudy. I started getting pretty cold, so I seen a exit right here, like a pull-off. So I decided to get down there. I knew Lois seen me coming this way, and that way I could put on a heavy coat and my heavy pants and gloves. on one tiptoe, can't get the kickstand down. Plus, I'm about to get hollered at for going too fast, which I did.
I can't find a kickstand. Put it down. I need my coat nap, man. I'm freezing. Okay. I started slowing down.
I thought Officer Lois was going to give me a ticket, but she let it slide.
I had to pull off and get my heavy pants on and my jacket and stuff. I just had a shirt and I thought, oh, it was warm. Man, you get riding, it started to get chilly. So we're going the right way home. It's just pulling back out on I-70. I have to watch because she wants me to go slow for her. I am on tippy toes on this bike. The kickstand's almost impossible to get up. I got it. Boy, the bike runs great. One big trouble. He cleaned a stinking seat with, must have been Armor All or something. I'm sliding all over the place. Man, I'll have to use a Brillo pad on it. Holy hell, is that thing slippery. She's behind me. Yeah, it's a 5-speed. Okay, I'm going 50. 45 along here because they have construction, so that's good. I don't have to speed.
When we went to leave, I told Lois on the way there's a Cracker Barrel, we'll stop. Now I just have to watch for the exit. Realized I missed the exit.
Took that exit back there. Oh man.
There's Cracker Barrel.
We was going to stop at Cracker Barrel. Missed the exit. I don't think there's any way to get off here and go back. I don't care.
once we got it home, I told her I'd take her back there on her birthday.
Yeah, I think we'll just go home. To talk a little bit about YouTube. I always said I don't have any advertisement, I make no money, no product I show gives me money. I do it because I like to do it. Now, some of my videos, I notice when you bring them up, there's an advertisement on there. That's not out of my doing, that's YouTube. I heard YouTube was going to do this because if I had advertisements on and got money, YouTube gets so much of the money and I get so much. Well, if I have no advertisements at all or anything and they put it up, they get all the money. So that's what they like. And it's their decision to do it. And I noticed it's just on certain videos at the beginning. And I couldn't figure out why. And then Lois said it's probably because you have so many views. They're not going to put an advertisement on maybe you did something that a lot of people didn't click on and didn't watch. But something like maybe my review on the Suzuki, or working on it, or working on this and about it, they probably say, you know, well, he has enough views, we can make some money off. They put an advertisement up. So any advertisement you see on my channel is not my doing. I get nothing for it. I don't really want it on there, but you have to live by their rules. Now, on buying a used motorcycle, the first thing I do is I'll go down the line of what I think of it and how I go about doing it. And I kind of know bikes, and people ask me, well, there's a certain year bike, the make, the model, what do you think of it? I don't know. You know, unless it's one I've dealt with, I can tell you with some troubles. But I worked on bikes years and years ago, and they're completely different now with all the electronics, sensors and all that. This is a different world to me. So I can't say, yeah, that's a good bike, how many miles, all this. You have to kind of research it yourself. So when I look for another bike, this one I just bought, the first thing I think of is money. That's the most important thing. I figured I would go 2,000, I'm writing this down, $2,000 to $2,500. Now that's for the bike. I could possibly go to 3, but I can't. Okay, I'm 22 to 25 is where I'd like to be. So we'll say I found a bike for $2,000. I can't buy that bike for $2,000. That's what the bike's going to cost. You have to add another $300 for your tax, your title work, and your plate. Usually about $250, $275 to $300. Now, the more expensive bike you get, the more tax there is. You have to remember you're going to go through your insurance to get it on insurance, but usually you tell them, then they send you a bill, you have time to pay it. But that's going to be an addition. But we'll say just the cost of you going down, looking on Craigslist like I did and buying a bike. So there's $2,300 right there. Now, you look the bike over, you take it for a ride, everything seems good, it's what you want for what kind of riding you want to do. Get on YouTube before you even contact them, look at reviews.
try to get the same year you have, or a little newer or older. Look at them, see what problems they're having. That tells you so much. I researched this bike so much, so many evenings I sat in there late into the night looking at how do you change oil. Now there's some bikes, I think it's maybe the V-Rod, Harley. When you change oil, you have to take the exhaust pipe off. You can get a relocator to bring it out where you can just spin the oil filter on and off. That's going to cost you another like $350 if you buy that. So that's why I check all that. What's the air filter like? I get on eBay and I'll put in the air filter for this. What's it cost? Is it available? And just things like brakes. How much are the brakes? The brakes are these. There's 2 discs in the front and 1 in the back. So you're buying 3 sets of shoes. But we'll say the V-Rod Harley that my nephew owned, we decided to put brakes all over it. That's 3 sets. He had 2 in the back and 1 in the front. That was like well over $200 for brake pads for that bike. That's a lot. You know, I mean, it's a Harley. What are you going to do? So you have to consider that. Look and see how much they are on eBay. Battery, just like I showed my battery. No matter what, I was going to put a new battery in it from when I have it. Now I know I got another 7 years I don't have to worry about. Because in the winter I have that charger I like, put a charge into them once in a while, keeps it running. My nephew just said his battery's a year old. He was thinking about getting another one, and I said, no way. I said, charge it up. I said, man, that's a brand new battery. You know, because he didn't understand. I said, man, they last like 6-7 years. The wife, she said this spring, I'm buying a new battery. I said, well, I have that new type of tester. Let me test it. I tested it. It was way up. And I said, you don't need it. I said, if anything, if you want it for your own state of mind, wait till all through summer till winter. In the winter is when you really need that cranking power, but you don't need another battery. I said, I would just leave it. Why, you know, spend it? And there's going to be other things you want to do on the bike like that. This has the shaft drive, so I got to get a bottle of oil for back there. I think I might have some because the Suzuki's the same. I don't know if I have enough. I have to look. The brake lines, you want to bleed all them out. Get all the old, even if it's clear, bleed it out. You know, and you write it in your book that has been done. This has a hydraulic clutch. Bleed that out, you know, and keep bleeding it until you get fresh stuff through it. And it uses .4, which is synthetic, not .3 like a lot of cars on these bikes. It's water cooled. So I'm going to flush the system. I'm going to put new in. There's a bottle of that. Oil for this, a big jug of it is like $22, $23. You have to add that. I would add that to any bike. So when I go to look at a bike, I know how much this total thing's going to cost me. So I figure for myself, you could add it up. I'd put another $500 on it. So that's $2,800 for me to be comfortable to buy this bike. He wanted $2,000. I had called him about the inspection. There was no inspection on it. He said, I'll put it on before you get it, you know, or if somebody buys it. Well, I checked later, he brought it down to $1,800. So the bike cost $1,800, then with everything else, and I added up, I'm thinking like, if I'm going for a $2,000 bike, I would go about $2,800 you need to get everything done and what you want so you can get that bike on the road. $1,800, maybe you can knock $100 or $200 off, but in around that area. But I like to say $2,000, you need another $800. You definitely have to have 3 to get it. So that's my judgment on the bike. What kind of riding you going to do? Set on the bike. I sat on this bike when I was down there, and I seen it was tippy toes for me. And I can't put both toes down, one side or the other. I can deal with it. I got a pair of boots now that have thicker soles that will allow me to have a little better stance. I have to fix the kickstand with the extension so I can work it. Once I'm up and running, it's like no other, it's just like any other bike. Another thing about this bike that I wouldn't even looked at if he didn't have on it is this bike, you lean kind of forward on it. It's like a sport bike touring. Well, ST, that's what it is. He had on risers on the handlebar, but also a piece that brought it back so that you're setting more like a regular other bike. I can't do that leaning over. That's going to kill your back, your ride. And a lot of guys have shown that it is so comfortable, this and that, without the risers. Maybe they can handle it, but I like the idea. He had it in the description about the risers, and then it come back some towards you. He has that all on there. There's a cover that goes over your top part there. They can't put on because he put this on, which is fine. It looks okay. And being a 93, it's got some scrapes and dings, I mean, there's one right here by the front that is really noticeable. You go and you match it up. I wasn't sure. I bought 2 cans of this. One's lighter and one's darker. I held it up by the tank and I'm like, that is close. It's really close. I got this at the auto parts. That's good enough that I can fill that scratch with this paint. Then take rubbing compound a little bit and then polishing compound, rub it all down nice, try to get it level, then do the waxing and the buffing and all that. And it should, even if it shows me a little bit back, who cares? I mean, this bike ain't going to be sitting out here just to show. I want to ride it. So other stuff I can deal with, I can fix, but I'm on my way. But I just wanted to say, if I look for a used bike, a dealer, now you might have the money. If you have the money, go to the dealer, you get a brand new one, it's warranty, everything. But this bike, I really like the comfort of it and everything. It's got a lot of luggage area, compartments to put stuff. So I'm satisfied with everything, but I got to do a lot to bring it up to my standard where I'm going to feel comfortable out there riding. And I pull the brakes, and I don't know how hot they've been, this and that. I think they're reasonable. I might as well just order them. I'll probably order them tonight. Take the wheels off, put the brakes on. While the wheels are off, I'm going to check the balance. Its bike runs smooth. No vibration at all. But I'm still going to get my balancer like I show for the V-Rod, the vibration, and how I balance it, and I talk about that. I'm going to do it to this one. And that way I can clean in there, I can check everything out. And you want to see if your bag or your bike has a tool bag. This has the original tool bag, and I think he put an extra screwdriver in. But there's some other things you want to take. These are tubeless tires because there's 3 big spokes on it, so I have to get the tire plug for it. If I'd be out and get a flat, I can plug it. I have to get that set and put in it, and I do a lot of that kind of stuff. Get some tools. I have an air pump I bought, 12-volt air pump. I researched them, found one that works good. People say are really worth it. I put that in there because that's something, you're out and what are you going to do? And I know there's some that runs off. You take the spark plug out and put it in there to pump up your tire. But this, I don't know if you can get to the spark plugs with all that casing on there. So it's better to have the 12-volt thing. And I hope this video was informative, even if it was just entertainment. But that's what I would do if I'm looking for a used bike.